Peace to the... It wasn't working. Charge is not working. As always when it's a situation. Peace to the family. Peace to the family. We're live. We're going to be conducting the placenta ceremony. The burying of the placenta. That's what we're going to be doing. Let me start right now.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Alright, so I'm live. I want to make sure I can go straight through and clear. Alright, so what I'm about to read right now is our Declaration of Sovereign Nativity deed. To whom these presents come notice to agent is notice to principal. Alright? First and foremost, we claim our children. We'll go to the Secretary of State.
I'm sorry, it's the light. I can't see your face. Okay.
Got it? Let me see. Alright. Just let me know, because percentage.
Right here.
I'm
It's
running out
good.
of time. Alright. So we have the Declaration of Sovereign Nativity deed. To whom presents come notice to agent is notice to principal. This agreement between the sovereign living witness named below is made this 12th day of June 2019, Nunc Pro Tunc, June 2nd, 2019. As a bona fide testimony instituted to memorialize and say that a meeting of the minds occurred between Nisutet Aminet Senta Tumre, a woman in her unlimited private sovereign capacity, hereinafter referred to as the sovereign biological mother and trustee of the first part, and Nisu Amunre Senatumre, a man in his unlimited private sovereign capacity, hereinafter referred to as sovereign biological father and trustee of the second part, and Queen of Four, a woman in her unlimited private sovereign capacity, hereinafter referred to as the sovereign witness and trustee of the third part, and Anisa Ma'at Hotepa Tumre, a young lady in her unlimited private sovereign capacity, hereinafter referred to as a sovereign witness of the fourth part. Okay, and so we have, whereas the woman, Nisutet Aminet Sentatumre, having a nativity day of May 24th, 1984, named herein as the biological mother, the trustee of the child, Nisu Amunre Senatumre, standing on the sacred soil of the earth's natural space and field, described geographically as the American terra firma, identified cosmically as 34.0736 degrees north, 118.4004 degrees west, and known as Beverly Hills in the organic California state, desiring to remain peaceful and spread peace and goodwill to all men and women throughout the planet, and to establish that she is a witness to the memory of a divinely inspired event which took place on the month of June, the second day in the year of Necha, 2019, through this irrevocable declaration, deed, and trust herein. And whereas the man Amun Ray, that's Nisu Amun Ray Senatun Ray, having a nativity day of August 10th, 1983, named herein as the biological father and trustee of the child, Nefertari Camilla Akosawa Atumre, standing on the sacred soil of the earth's natural space and field, described geographically at 4 degrees, 0.0736 degrees north, 118.4004 degrees west, and known as Beverly Hills in the organic California state, desiring to remain peaceful and spread peace and goodwill to all men and women throughout the planet, and to establish that he is a witness to the memory of a divinely inspired event which took place on the month of June, the second day of the year of Necha, 2019, through this irrevocable declaration, deed, and trust herein. And whereas the woman, Queen of Four, and Anisa Ma'at Tumre, named herein as a witness and trustee of the child, standing on the sacred soil of the earth's natural space and field, described geographically as the American terra firma, identified cosmically as 34.0736 degrees north, 118.4004 degrees west, and known as Beverly Hills in the organic California state, desiring to remain peaceful and spread peace and goodwill to all men and women throughout the planet, to establish that he is a witness. They are a witness. She is a witness to the memory of a divinely inspired event which took place on the month of June, the second day of the year of Necha, 2019, through this irrevocable declaration, deed, and trust herein. Now therefore witness that in consideration of the promises and of mutual covenants and agreements herein contained, it is hereby covenanted and agreed by and between the parties hereto as follows. All four witnesses agree and consent unequivocally and irrevocably that they witness the woman, the Sutet Aminet Senatumre, produce her biological womb out of her biological womb a human girl child in living form and substance of the day, June 22nd, 2019, who has named her Nefertari Camilla Kosawa Atumre according to the likeness and image of the mother and father on the dry land of Beverly Hills, California, in the organic state of California. All witnesses plainly declare and deny that such terms or appellations, including but not limited to corporation, artificial entity, fictional person, legal entity, legal fiction, debt debtor, or any other juristic person, dead, estate, etc., are applicable to them or the child being memorialized herein. All witnesses plainly declare and deny that the biological womb of Nsutet Aminet Sentatunre, the mother, is similar or co-equal in party with any vessel in commerce on the waters of bankruptcy or any such other declarations. All witnesses plainly declare and deny that no commercial activities ever took place on the day of 6/2/2019. All witnesses plainly declare and deny that the woman Nsutet Aminet Sentatunre and the man Nisu Amunre Sentatunre ever intended to abandon their biological child to any and all entities, including but not limited to the state, city, municipality, federal government, legislature, executive, judiciary, etc., and as such, any assumption to the contrary will remain and of no effect nunc pro tunc. All witnesses therefore unite and join their natural hands together in memory of this event and warn any and all concerned that this declaration of sovereign nativity deed is a fair notice and warning to any and all actors, fictions, and corporate representatives that the natal soil of this child of the universe and birthright was not a port of entry for any newly birthed legal entity to be entered into the fictional or factional corporate marketplaces, bonds, surety, equity, futures, chattel stock, or trade material, and stands as correction of any assumption, presumption, or position in any corporate realm to the contrary. The witnesses, as affiants, justly reserve their right to amend in order that the truth be ascertained swiftly and justly determined. In witness whereof, we, the undersigned in our sovereign capacities, have executed and acknowledged the deed and trust instrument on the date first written above. Nsutet Aminet Sentatunre, sovereign biological mother, trustee and witness. Nisu Amunre Sentatunre, sovereign biological father, trustee and witness. Queen of Four, sovereign trustee and witness. Anisa Ma'at Hotep Atumre, sovereign trustee and witness. All right, and what we will do, we'll take those cherries, we'll crush some of those cherries, we'll put our fingers on them, and we'll stamp this with our fingerprint. Y'all call signature, we call sign of nature. You look at the word, your signature is a sign of nature. And we're gonna put our fingerprint, crush these, and we're gonna have this document signed through our sign of nature. Then later on, we'll sign it in blue ink. Blue ink represents debt, because we'll be in debt to the life that just was brought here. We'll obligate ourselves, that is to say, towards her advancement and furthering her agendas as she begins to realize her existence.
And your pour libation, which is now pour libation into the earth for our returning ancestor.
Yes.
That she will be protected all throughout her life's journey. And so we'll all call forth our ancestors, our grandmothers who have passed, our fathers who have passed, all those who are ancestors for protection of our babies, of our returning ancestors. So we'll now go to the, what do we do first?
We could crush it. Yeah. It'll be good enough. Charcoal's here?
Yeah, you can probably just charcoal.
Do charcoal?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Go ahead, get your cherry stamp. The printer's there.
You should use charcoal, black.
Yeah, but it's black. That's for the baby.
Oh.
Oh, my bad. Go right here. Right there, wherever you want. I'm gonna add, get you crush that cherry, get your sign of nature, because you was there to witness the birth of your little sister. Stamp it right there. Push it harder. There we go. Okay, we got it right there. Perfect. Perfect. And so, the reason why that's important is because we understand that they've monetized life, death, and relationships. What that means is whenever you see a certificate, a security is a paper certificate that attests to ownership and equity, as in the case of a stock, or ownership of a bond, as in the case of a debt obligation, which has tradable derivatives. So when you see a certificate, you see a QSIP on it, which Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure. So a QSIP means Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedure. Keyword is security, and the security is a paper certificate. That means that there's a debt obligation. If a person was to get married, as an example, you get a marriage certificate, and when you get married, if you owe outstanding taxes, you won't be able to divorce until you fulfill that debt. Now, when you married each other under God, you didn't know taxes was part of the obligation amongst each other to separate. So it said to deafness, to sickness and health, to death do you part. It never said until you pay Uncle Sam. But it's because there's a QSIP on the marriage certificate. So there's a QSIP on the birth certificate, there's a QSIP on the death certificate, and there's a QSIP on the marriage certificate. So there is a commercial implication on you coming into this world, marrying or loving someone in this world and establishing a covenant, and even exiting this world. So we don't want to be binded to any of those agreements. So the reason why we did this is just to have our own declaration of birth, our own witnessing, because we know oftentimes when you do it in the hospital, they create a birth certificate, and it's a Sesti K trust that they put your name in all caps, and create a business after it, and have you fulfilling obligations under that straw man. That's a different conversation in and of itself. So we have our own form, and we'll go to the Secretary of State, into the miscellaneous index, and we'll record the live birth of our child as the mother and father as a deed, and take sole possession of that child. We've done so with my aunt, and we're still able to travel and do what we do, without conflict, stress, duress, or coercion, TDC, by way of the government. And so that's what we encourage parents to do in their own sovereign capacity, without being in conflict with the government, and without looking like a terrorist, without expecting something from nothing. This is just us claiming the live birth of our child and the witnesses that were there. You always want to have at least 2 witnesses on your sovereign affidavit of nativity, or your sovereign communique of nativity. That's out the way. We got the commercial governmental part out the way, right? And now we are here for the burying of the placenta. The reason why this is so very important, as we've just gone through it, this is very sacred. The reason why this is important, the rough part was attached to the womb. The bag part is what the baby was in before the water broke, and of course the umbilical cord fed the child. The placenta is also the cure for the diseases that do not impact the child when the child comes into this world, because before anything could go through the placenta, it has to be filtered out through. Before anything could go to the child, it has to be filtered out through the placenta. So cures are created. That's why a lot of parents that have AIDS, mothers, or herpes, or things of that nature, the child comes out void of any of those diseases most times than often. Liquor, unfortunately, gets through there. Cigarette smoke gets through there easily, right? But all the other things like germs, microbes, bacteria, and viruses oftentimes don't. There's a plasma field of bacteria that the child normally has to go through before entering this world. If the woman has a C-section, they miss out on the opportunity to get the last of that data that protects them from every ailment or sickness that the mother encounters. That's why you don't want the C-sections, or you hope they can be avoided, because that child needs that bacteria field or plasma to go through it, so it can be absorbed into the skin to get the last collection of data. So this placenta here, our ancestors said we had an etheric double. Our ancestors said that, yes, you are connected to your moms by way of the physical umbilical cord, but you're also connected to the universe, the great mother as well, through an etheric cord. So we are just giving this as an offering to nature, to let nature know that we brought a child into this world not to disavow nature, not to contradict nature, not to go against nature, right? This is so we're not reprimanded by nature. We're saying that we're bringing this child into this world with the intention to contribute to nature, to be in conformity with nature, to help maintain, sustain, and fulfill, as well as obligate itself to nature. So what we put in place of our child coming into this world is acknowledgement that our child will borrow from nature from time to time, but will definitely contribute more than they ever will take. So we symbolically plant this plant right here, this Echinacea plant, which is a plant that is symbolic of timeless love and wealth. It actually brings about wealth, which is in conformity with the zodiacal frequency of our daughter, Nefertari Camila Akosua Tumre. she was born, the gorgeous one that is born in the perfection of a Sunday in the hidden power of Ray, who has a midhaven of Taurus, a rising sign of Leo, and a sun sign of Gemini, which definitely says she's going to generate a lot of revenue in her lifetime. But we want to make sure that she is not superficial in her being. We want to make sure that she has a connection to nature, and that's why we're obligating her to her assignment. That no matter how much she succeeds, no matter how much wealth she will inevitably amass, she will use a great deal of that in the restoration of nature where it need be, and the sustaining of nature where it is. Ashe.
And so let us call forth. I think our blood is almost finished.
We still got that smoking? Do we need more?
No, we can do it.
So I'd like to thank you all for joining us here. Thank you all for joining us here. Let's thank our brother Ray for the funerary rite of the placenta.
And we can call forth our ancestors for the protection of our returning ancestor, who I was there to bear witness to the power of the moot of the mother, as she went into a squat, and with her very oxygen, her very breath, that she bared in and gave to the family the new life. Which we are very grateful for being witness to your power. For you made a choice. You made a choice to be most powerful and have a natural birth. Where so many women are not prepared for a natural birth. Their bodies are so weak or so sick that they cannot go full term. And even when they are ready for a natural birth, they will say, I will take painkillers. And you said, no, I will use my life force, my very breath, and bring forth this soul, so this soul will not be polluted on any level. So it took courage, and so I bear witness to the courage. And the power is a great root, a great mother. And for the protection, continued protection of you, because our returning ancestors are one. And you see it through the breastfeeding, she was very life-based. So for libation, ask all our ancestors to come and support this burial. But this burial is actually giving us the power of nature and tapping us into the garden. For this is what will sustain you, and will sustain the milk that you bear, and will sustain our ancestor who has just come in, and we celebrate her life. We celebrate from the time that she came in. We'll continue all call forth the ancestors. I call forth Mother Harriet Tubman, a great herbalist and freedom fighter. Ashe.
Ashe.
Call forth the ancestor. Another ancestor to guide and protect. Ashe.
Ashe. Call on the ancestor.
Grandmother, grandfather will help to protect the family.
Grandmother.
Okay. What is the name? Grandpa? Okay, grandpa. All right. Ashe. Baba.
Norma Noak, my grandmother, and Denicia Byron, my mother, who passed the week that I met her when I turned 17.
And she's here with us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. So in turn we give thanks. The ancestors are very present.
Hey, ancestor, name an ancestor, good brother. Malcolm X.
Okay, Malcolm X.
Man, it's a lot of energy in this plant right here. We investing a lot of energy. You got a lot to live up to, baby girl. That's right, Nefertari. All right, so.
Before, in the spirit of our ancestors, we call forth the tamarisk tree. May this tree that we bury our returning ancestors' placenta bring forth great life and vitality to her and the family that will carry her through her life's journey. We give thanks for following the traditions. The ancient ones are blessing this day and all days to come. Ashe.
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 Ashe. No.
No?
No, not you. Matt, hold the feather. That's right. Just get that smoke over there. Get it over. That's right. Usher that Frank and Merle over there. That's right, baby. All right, so we're going to bury this placenta right here. This came straight from the womb. The womb of creation. We came out the womb of the universe ultimately, our double, and we manifested our second in the physical. So we pour this in here, reflective of the blood of our ancestors. Reflective of the blood of our ancestors that have returned vicariously through our children, in this particular case, Nefertari, Camilla, Akosawa, Atumre. This is the blood of our ancestors. We know they exist through us. Because if I get cancer from smoking, and my daughter's daughter gets cancer, 200 years from now, they'll ask, is there a history of cancer in her family? And they'll blame me for it. So I exist 200 years from now, as I will exist 400 years from now, as I will exist 1,000 years from now, because our ancestors exist in us through blood. And if we can inherit the bad as in the form of disease from our ancestors, we can inevitably, and we do, inherit the good from our ancestors. So if she just perfect her being as an individual, she would advance our race. But her job would be more greater than that. Her job will be to amass wealth for the restoration of nature. So now we pour the placenta in. Something so close to the womb. It's going back into the earth where it belongs. And we just ask nature, the forces of nature, to look over our baby. We ask the forces of nature to protect her. We ask the forces of nature to give her the intuition to know when to move left when right isn't the most ideal, and when to move right when left isn't the most ideal. That is an instruction that you can't get from no human being. That is something that you get intuitively. That is something you get from nature. So we ask that her heart and her mind be open to the sound and to the voice of nature, so that she can be fair in all her decision making. Brother Ray, can you throw some? This is the one time it's good to throw some dirt. That's right. Let's get a little dirt there. Yeah. That's good stuff right there. Look at that. Look at that. What is the name of this tree? What is the name of the spirit?
The spirit of this tree is from our ancestors, from ancient Kemet, Nile Valley. This is the tamarisk tree that will be the protection and will bring forth the beauty of our ancestor as she takes her life's journey. So we say to our inter.
And now we bury this part right here.
Not within the tamarisk tree.
Let's get some dirt here, my good brother. Let everybody throw a piece of this dirt in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's get that in. You know, we put a lot of energy into burying our folks, but very little energy goes into what? The life, the rebirth of our folks. And we're going to put as much as energy. That's why we got the naming ceremony. That's why we got the burying of the placenta. Because when we bury our family, we got wakes and funerals and repasts. But where's the celebration when life comes into here? Look at that. This is beautiful. Come here, Nat. Take a little of this. Come here, mommy. Put this here. That's right. Look at this. Look at that. It's beautiful.
It's very beautiful.
When you really see the symbolism behind it, man.
Strong.
This plant is powerful now.
Absolutely.
Life, health, and strength.
Life, health, and strength.
It looks so perfect there, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, actually.
Yeah.
That's how beautiful she is.
Yeah.
Have you heard?
Yeah, that's her name. The gorgeous one has arrived. Nefertari. So we'll take this time to do a few prayers. This is the prayer of Osiris. Pashatat Shilasaru. Nukta Odfug Min Antutin Ya Inosat. Anuki Temli Pata. Anuki Li Pali U. Nukabautu Pali Ulat. Nukalaktu Pali Ulat Ama Bikun. Anuki Bama Hoishil Nezderu. Pa Rashil Nezderu. Pa Mustarashil Shil Nezderu. Anuki Fi Pa Na Washil Re. Pa Na Washil Re Kalun. Dakuni Anuki Hayusi Nasu. Queen, can you offer us?
Nuku Amiku. Kamam Keperu in turn on you. You are a shining being dwelling in light, for you come from the divine. We give thanks and praise for the returning ancestor who came through the birth canal of life safely and in a state of wholeness.
That's
you
right.
Continue to walk as nefer, beautiful in all that you do.
Yes.
And that this plant symbolizes the strength and the power of your being, of your soul. That you will be medicine to everyone who looks upon you. And you'll be medicine for your family and all other issues. Life, strength, and health. Life, strength, and health. From the garden. Life, strength, and health. Anku Jasane. Anku Jasane. Anku Jasane. Anku Jasane. Lead you to our returning ancestor. Light, Ra.